Hey, San. Good afternoon. Time to educate you today. And the question today is, how do you become grateful? Let's start with this. Most dads, they complain about the things they don't have: the money, the car, the home. And the problem is not them. The problem here is taking things for granted. And that happens because maybe he just forgot to appreciate the blessing he has. His family, his wife, his son, his body, right? And that's valid, of course. But are you really curious? Are you curious about what happens if you take things for granted? Of course, obviously, you become ungrateful, meaning you forget to appreciate the food you eat. You forget to appreciate your family. And worse, you will complain why you are eating the same food every day. You will complain why they are still not hiring you. It's been 3 months now, right? And you will complain why you are not losing weight. You've been exercising for many weeks now. You become ungrateful if you take things for granted. And how about for your son? What happens to your son if you take things for granted? Of course, same thing. He will become ungrateful too, just like you. Why? Because he sees you complaining each day. He never heard you appreciating the blessings you have. So your son is going to be ungrateful too because you led him by example. You built a home where the standard is being grateful is not a big deal. Being grateful, we don't practice being grateful because it doesn't matter, because it's not a big deal. That's the standard you built, right? And your son, him, he could have been appreciative. He could have been grateful, but that won't happen because you never educate him that being grateful matters, right? Do you want him? Do you want him to be ungrateful? Do you want your son to be a complainer, right? I forgot your son. He deserves he deserves to be taught. He deserves to be guided about this matter, that being grateful matters, right? And the question earlier was, do you want him to grow up ungrateful until he becomes a dad? Of course not, right? Now, what action do you need to take to get what you want, since you want him to be grateful, appreciative. What do you need to do to get what you want to make that happen? Educate him. Teach him that. Teach him to be specific when he gives gratitude. Now, how? How can you do it? Say thank you for the fish, for the rice, for the coffee before he eats his breakfast, before he eats his lunch. Second, say thank you for mom, dad, thank you for reading me a bedtime story. I really appreciate that. And say, mom, thank you. Thank you for empathizing me when when I lose the football match, right? That's how you do it. That's how you give specific gratitude. It's either for the blessings or for the actions that people did to you, right? And what happens? What happens to you, son, if you give specific if you give specific gratitude? Of course, obviously, you become grateful this time. You become appreciative and you train your brain to be very specific when you give thanks, when you give gratitude, when you appreciate things and actions of others. Meaning, you can say, ah, I did it. Thank you. Today is a great day because I wrote an article. I filmed a video today to educate my son, and that what makes my day successful. It's a win. You can say that. That's how you give specific gratitude, specific thanks, specific appreciation. You don't say, thank you. That's not enough. Thank you for what? What did you get? What action they did? That's the whole idea. And same thing for your son. He will become grateful too this time until he becomes a dad. Why? Because he sees you appreciating, he sees you giving specific gratitude, right? So he will grow up doing the same thing because you led him by example. You created a home where the standard is give specific gratitude, right? And in the future, so when your son becomes a dad, he will also teach and educate his own future children that about this thing. He will teach his future children that give be specific when you give gratitude. Basically, you created a generation of grateful dad. It started with us. It started it starts from you and it starts from me. It starts everything starts from him. We are creating grateful dads, grateful men. Men. Exactly. What else? Of course, that's what your son deserves. He deserves to be educated about this matter. He deserves to know that Being grateful, you should be specific about what you are thankful for. Specific gratitude. And do you want do you want your son to be educated about this, to know about this? Do you want him to be a grateful son, a grateful boy, and a grateful dad in the future? Yes, of course. And I feel that. So educate him to be specific when he give thanks. Good. Now, let me check my book. Mhm. The question now is, how do you know if you learn from this episode? Okay, if your action before is you take things for granted, meaning you don't you forget to appreciate the blessings you have, and if you forget to appreciate what others did to you, and now your action today is you give specific thanks for the blessings and for the actions that other people do to you. If before you don't say thank you and now you say thank you, that's how you know you learn from this episode. Your action before was ah thank you with I don't say that, and today you say thank you now. That's how you know you learn from this episode. So start giving specific thanks today. And when can you apply this? Now you know what to do. You give specific thanks, right? When can you apply it? Before you eat dinner, breakfast, lunch. Say thank you for the eggplant, for the fish, for the chicken, for the rice, for the coffee, for the carrots, for the potato. Second, before you sleep, right? Remind yourself, oh, today is a great day because I wrote a newsletter and I filmed podcast to teach my son. And third, when can you be grateful or when can you give specific thanks? When your son listens to you. Son, thank you for listening, for choosing the right thing. Just like right now, thank you for choosing the right thing. Something like that. And do it every time you eat, every time you before you sleep, when your mom or dad reads your bedtime story, say that's when can you apply this, and do it every time because that's how you stay consistent with it. That's how you build this consistent habit of giving specific things. Mhm. And you're probably thinking right now, you're probably thinking right now, Dad, I am allowed to complain. I am allowed to be ungrateful. Why? I don't have money. I don't have the car. I don't have the home. Of course, that's valid. Those are important. Money is important to do what you need to do as a dad. Let me remind you, you have your son, you have your wife, you have your family. And if you want money, work for it. Apply for a job. And you know what? Your son is going to say someday, Dad, thank you. Thank you for educating me to give specific thanks, to be grateful. And now I am doing this in practice. I I I give specific thanks before I eat, before I sleep, and this happens because you educate me, and thank you for that. Your son will say that in the future. Do you want him to be grateful? Yes, you do. Right? Thank you. Thank you for choosing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing to give specific thanks, not just generic, general gratitude, but specific gratitudes. And if I'm going to summarize this letter in one sentence, is something like this: be specific when you give thanks. That's it. And you got this, son. I'm here for you each day, every day. All right. And time for our stories of the day. Let's start with Prince, my nephew, and his mom. I was washing my laundry last night, and his mom was yelling at him. She wanted him to sleep, so he wakes up early in the morning before he goes to school early in the morning. And yelling to your kids is very disrespectful. That's why I encourage you, son, choose a wife that study parenting. Your son, he can't choose a mom. Your son is trusting you. Your son wants you to choose a mom that study parenting because that's what he deserves. And my niece Shimi and mom, I was writing earlier, or I was eating, and then I heard. Remember, I told from yesterday's episode that she was slapped at school because I've heard last night her 20 pesos or 50 pesos was stolen by her classmate, and that's why she was slapped after that event. And that's why they told the kids not to bring money, just to bring food, biscuit, or banana. And I want you to know, son, that letting your kids study at public school is risky. Why? How his classmates will treat him, how his teachers will treat him, what are the foods will he eat at school, at the cafeteria. So your son doesn't deserve to learn in a distraction, in a place full of distraction. He doesn't deserve to learn to listen while his classmates are noisy in the background at the back. Your son doesn't deserve to be bullied, to be slapped, to be robbed money. Your son deserves a good influence, and your home is the safest place. From Danny Debreto on Substack, cross pollination. Before I started to write, A, I just wanted to write. B, I wrote for my English students. And right now, I wrote articles for my son, for you, son, for you, son, and for my grandson. Grandson? hmm I film for you, son. I film YouTube podcast to educate you. Cross pollination. Sometimes when you start writing 6 months from now, who are you writing to will change. So before I wrote for my students, right now I wrote for you, son. So that's the idea of cross pollination. Idea story number 4 from friend on Substack. He says, no matter your age, you'll always wish you started younger, but today is the youngest you'll ever be. So start today. Yes, that's true. 24 years ago, I wish I write article at 9 a.m. each day. Today, I write article at 9 a.m. each day. So, meaning I've learned. Sometimes we have that random thought of I wish I exercised 24 years ago. I wish I write newsletter articles 24 years ago. I wish I wish we started 24 years ago. And new perspective is today is the youngest I'll ever be, you'll ever be. So write today, exercise today, film today, film YouTube podcast today. That's the idea of friend on Substack. Okay, story number 5, sticking to your schedule. Sticking to your schedule is really important, son, because your day is structured and your son, he deserves a blueprint, appointments, a structured day. He doesn't deserve to have a day where it's scattered, where he doesn't know what he will do. What time will he play football? What time will he take his piano lesson, drum lesson? So, scheduling your day is important. Lesson number six. What is learning from? I forgot to include the name. So, what is learning? Learning is when you respond, when your response is different from your previous response. In short, what is learning? Learning is same situation, different response. Let's say the situation is drinking soft drinks. 24 years ago, your action before 24 years ago, you had been drinking for 24 years. But today, your action now is you stop drinking soft drinks. That's how you learn. The same situation, but your this response are different now. Is different now. What else? What another example? 24 years ago, I didn't write. Today, I am writing. So that's how you learn. And story number six, writing 2 to 3 hours without zero distractions. Focused writing. And this is true. Right, writing without distractions like no yelling, no phone, right? No music, of course. And story 6.1 is leaving a home with zero distraction. No sugar, no junk food, no beers. That's why I left Taguig City because everything I saw was vendors selling unhealthy foods, isaw, breads. Every time I go back home, every time I go to the park to run, and after I exercise, every time I go back at home, what I see was unhealthy foods every corner. So I left it. So living in a home with zero distractions, it's good. It reminds me of Team Bilyu. So if you don't bring Doritos at home, you won't eat it, right? And story 6.2, creating a home with zero disrespect, meaning no lies, no yelling, no bad words. That's why I am creating articles about disrespect and kindness. If we will go back from 6.1 story, living in a home with zero distraction, meaning creating a home with zero distraction where you don't eat sugar, you don't eat junk food, you don't drink beers, wines, gin, right? Same thing with creating a home where zero disrespect, and that's the reason why I'm filming to teach you about disrespect. And story 7 from Old Pro Dad, writing about your anger helps you process it instead of punching him, swearing at him, making revenge to him. So we feel angry and it's okay. It's a feeling, it's normal. How do we handle it matters. Writing about it is the best way to handle why it's effective because you can process it alone. So you minimize punching your brother or saying bad words to him. And that's it for our episode today. Thank you for listening to the stories and see you tomorrow. And good news, I just got hired yesterday, last night. So it's a big milestone. And I will be teaching from 6 to 10. So I will be sacrificing 1 hours of sleep, washing clothes at night, brushing teeth, flossing my teeth, taking a bath, gardening at 5 to 6. I will have sacrificed that by tomorrow or by later, and it's worth it because I need to earn money. See you tomorrow, son. Let me close the camera.